Nice to be in orbit.
Roger, 0G, and I feel fine.
Lift off and the clock has started.
Nice to be in orbit.
Hey everybody, it's Nathan with the Geekosphere. Hey, it is just a short little special episode. You should be following our much bigger intro one where Luke and PJ and I kind of let you get to know us and hear a little bit about what we're interested in. And then it kind of skewed a little bit into some discussion on Star Wars. So that was quite a rabbit trail. I did want to say a couple things. I'm titling this episode, We Are Not Alone, because the truth is we aren't. And for myself and Luke and several others, we've been involved with a couple of different podcasts, and we still are involved with a couple of different podcasts. And so what I want to make sure we understand and know is that the Geekosphere is not it's not a competition between the others. In fact, actually what we see is ourselves as just partners in entertaining, partners in getting out there and just talking with you. Because, hey, you can't have too many podcasts, and you can't be in too many podcasts as far as I'm concerned. But I just wanted to take a few minutes and make some suggestions to you guys, because there are some really great shows out there, some really great stuff just to listen to. So I do want to throw out a couple shout-outs to my home base, Big Fat Geek Podcast. These are my guys. These are my boys. This is my first love. And Chris and Dallas over there, we started that about 2 years ago. So if you have not listened to the Big Fat Geek Podcast, you need to go check that out. And you'll hear some familiar voices. Luke's on there. We've done some interviews with some interesting figures within the geek culture world. And so, yeah, definitely check us out. You can check us out on Twitter at Big Fat Geek Pod, or Instagram, Big Fat Geek Podcast, or you can listen to the episodes on iTunes and your podcasting platform of choice. So we've had a lot of fun with it, and I'm hoping that we had the same kind of fun with the Geekosphere. Second one is a podcast that I just got into because I do like, the paranormal. It's kind of a little side interest of mine just because I love the stories. But that is the Haunted AF podcast. You share it with them. The third podcast I want to tell you about is one that I'm actually doing with my daughter. And hopefully we'll have her a little bit on the Geekosphere, and love to have her on the Big Fat Geek Podcast as well. But she and I both, like I said, have an interest in the paranormal, or most specifically, cryptozoology. And so all of those myths and legends that come out of the United States, Bigfoot and Champ and Momo and all of those, we love just talking about those and researching those. So if you want to check us out at These Frightening United States podcast, it sounds like we're doing a lot. Really, honestly, some of the release schedules are a little bit, more spaced out than others. But again, you know what? When there's not an episode of the Geekosphere, or there's not an episode of the Big Fat Geek Podcast, there's something out there for you guys to listen to that you're going to enjoy. So really just we encourage you to go check us out. Truthfully, she's doing pretty good. She's had downloads all over the world, but for a teenager, it's a lot of fun to do. And then finally, I do want to throw back a shout out to my friend Chris, who is currently on a podcast talking about LSU sports. So if you are a football fan, specifically if you're an LSU fan, check Chris out. And that's the funny thing is Chris is, he's got his love for the geek world, but he's also got his love for sports. So check him out over at the Sneaky Good Podcast. And it's a lot of fun. And if you are definitely if you're a fan of LSU, go check out Chris, because he is a podcasting machine. He is, and just has a great time with it. So anyway, that was all I wanted to say. Just a few minutes to say, hey, you know what? We love the community of podcasters. We love listening to them ourselves. And we love to hear from you if you have one. And just, we should support each other. We should encourage one another in these creative endeavors, because honestly, you're not going to get rich doing this necessarily. Some people do. We won't. But it's something we love to do, and we love to create. And we need to be creating more good content and putting it out there for people to listen to on those commutes, or when they're mowing the grass, or when they're just sitting around around the house. So, hey, thank you guys for listening. Thank you guys for listening to our first episode. And hopefully we will have more of those very, very quickly. We got a lot to talk about, especially today. We just found out today Spider-Man is back in the MCU. He is back after that big fallout with Sony, where Sony was going to take the rights back. Turns out they have come to an agreement, which probably, I'm going to say, definitely has something to do with Marvel's magic magician Kevin Feige moving over to do Star Wars. So hopefully we'll see what that does with Star Wars. Could it be we will have another Infinity Saga in the Star Wars universe? So who knows? We'll talk about that in a later episode. Hey, again, thanks for listening, guys. And again, this is Nathan with the Geekosphere. Just saying hey from Luke and PJ, and keep listening and having a great week.
Nice to be in orbit.
Roger, 0J, and I feel fine.
Lift off and the clock has started.
Nice to be in orbit.